specialisation and division of labour. So, division of labour involves dividing the workforce and allocating specific individuals to specific tasks. By doing so, it allows labour to specialise in a single task. Specialisation through the division of labour allows firms to take advantage of a thing called economies of scale. This is when production increases, but the average unit cost decreases. For example, if a BMW factory made 1,000 cars each year, each car would be quite expensive. But if they made 50,000 each year, then they can set up an assembly line and the cost per unit will decrease. So essentially this is because there are high initial costs. For example, the machinery to create these cars. However, if you've got the machinery in place, then the cost per car becomes a lot lower. Modern businesses divide their labour force. For example, restaurant operations such as Nando's divide up their force into you have your waitresses and your waiters, and then you have the people in the kitchen who cook the food for you. And then there's also, for example, a business manager who makes sure everyone's doing their specific things well. If each person does one job a lot, they typically become a lot better at it than if they did 4 different jobs with a quarter of their time. In the late 1700s, a man called Adam Smith proved through example that the division of labour could boost productivity in his book called The Wealth of Nations. He used the example of a pin factory he visited. He said that 10 workers produced 48,000 pins through specialisation. However, if each individual carried out every step of production themselves, they'd only make 10 or 20 each. So the firm avoids employing 2,400 to 4,800 people just through dividing their labour. If we consider restaurants such as Chiquitos and why they might specialise their labour, is because this improves the speed at which they can serve their customers. And this idea was first posited by a man called Adam Smith, who wrote the book The Wealth of Nations. So this is all very good and well that you can specialise, but what are the advantages and disadvantages of doing so? Let's first off talk about the disadvantages. Specialised firms are often not flexible. Workers may struggle to adapt to their new role and quickly. Workers may struggle to adapt and do a new role if the environment changes. This is because they were only trained in one specific skill. Alternatively, workers may become bored, and this could reduce productivity as they start to do their work more slowly. Countries also may be less self-sufficient and struggle when trade suffers. However, there are advantages. As we said before, specialisation can lead to economies of scale, and this lowers the long-run average cost of the firm. Specialisation reduces the cost of training workers because they only have to be trained for one particular job. And it can also increase labour productivity. Workers do tasks which they're good at, and so should produce a better quality and/or higher quantity of goods. So in terms of the advantages, it increases labour efficiency, and workers do tasks which they're typically quite good at already, which means that the average quality will be higher than if you didn't use specialisation. On the counter side, there are some disadvantages, which include specialised firms may not be very flexible to changes, workers could become bored, and on a national level, countries may become less self-sufficient. Thank you very much for listening to this episode about the division of labour. Next time, we're going to be talking about the types of economies.